What if expansion did not require you to hustle harder? What if growth didn't mean losing yourself? And what if leadership could be both powerful and soulful? Well, today's conversation is for the leader who knows that there's more and wants to grow without leaving their values behind. Come on, let's get this conversation started. Welcome back to Transformation Station, the podcast where growth meets real life momentum. Today, we're diving into expansion, growth, and soulful leadership, a conversation about what it really takes to expand your impact while staying grounded, aligned, and connected to who you are at your core. I'm joined today by Camilla Calberg, whose work centers on helping leaders to grow with intention, depth, and soul. I want you to know right now, this conversation, it's not about surface level success. No. It's about sustainable expansion that honors both results and inner wisdom. Now, before we get into that conversation, I want to say thank you to you. Do you want to know why? That's right. I know you do. I want to say thank you to you because of you. Transformation Station was able to cross the milestone of 75 podcast episodes. I want to say thank you so much to this amazing community for all that you contribute and for sharing it. And as a matter of fact, on that word share, I want to remind you that sharing is caring. So, with this episode, start right here. And I want to invite you to go ahead and share on whatever platform you are watching or listening. Share Transformation Station so we truly can be global. Now, we got to get into this conversation. Today, I am thrilled to introduce our guest to you. Her name is Camilla. Camilla is known as the go-to mentor for high-performing women leaders who are done over giving and ready to lead with calm power. A former Fortune 500 transformation leader and EU Business News most inspiring coach of 2022. She speaks with authority on emotional resilience, trusted advisor positioning, and nervous system aware leadership. What makes Camilla different from other experts is that she doesn't just teach mindset, she helps us to heal the patterns behind over responsibility and people pleasing. My hand is raised right now. And people pleasing so that they can command respect without force and build careers that actually look good. Camilla, welcome to Transformation Station. It is wonderful to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. And what an amazing intro. I love your show and your work, but wow, you pinned it so well. Thank you so much, my dear.
Absolutely. So, listen, I'm really glad you're here. And I'm glad to have this conversation because I think that this conversation really is a classic one. It's one that leaders, many times we don't really like talk below the surface, but it's always there. We're talking about expansion and growth and how it looks different when it comes to soulful leadership. So I want to start off by asking this question because I'm quite sure there are some leaders who are like soulful leadership. So let me ask you this, right? How do you define soulful leadership? And what does soulful leadership look like when a leader is truly expanding internally and externally?
Ooh, what's a powerful question to start off with. So,
Mm,
what is soulful leadership to me? And it really got another layer, sadly, but sometimes things break open. When
mhm,
my dad passed away in 2025, because we say that when people die, it's the body temple is here, then the soul leaves the body.
mhm,
But what I've been teaching a long time is that we are all souls. Right now, then two souls are talking, right? You're in one beautiful body temple. I'm in my body full temple. But what happened oftentimes is that we disconnect ourselves from our soul. Like the deep inner wisdom, the whisper. What is that? What is that your soul really wants? If you ask yourself what you really, really want, most people know what they really, really want, but they don't dare to name what it is. That in my world, that is the soul. What is it that you want? Not your name, not your title, but you as a human being.
Mm.
And when we then, I'm curious about that. So I'll pick that up and see how that landed. But then when we talk about leadership, having been in corporate for more than 20 years, I know what it means when you wear a mask. I wore more masks than I was myself
Mercy.
in corporate. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, here's where what's the work that I do is differently, maybe compared to some of my other fellow coaches and mentors, is that I talk about when we are in rooms with people who are more dominant, and then we start to dim our lights. But our soul, we want to really share what is going on, but that the ego mind comes up and protect us. Don't say that. Don't say that. Right? The more dominant voice, he knows better. And then you just know, I just knew that was wrong. But soul-led leadership is I help leaders stay grounded. Also, when other people feel the feelings. And so because they have learned to regulate their nervous system, they can spot and read when other people are a victim of the system. And that soul sees the other soul and dares with love. Someone said, is this a love strategy? It's not to do with love. It's like the unconditional love. It's not sexual love, right? But then really cares to see, I see you struggling right now. I see you're so attached to this. What is really going on? That's that next level of being a leader. Yeah. And leading from soul. How does that land?
Yeah, I love that. I love that because as I'm listening to you, this is what I've taken from what you just said. Soulful leadership is the practice of leading from deep self-awareness, values, and presence. What would you say to that?
That's so true. And here is that we're not taught in school to be self-aware. Self-aware is that care about yourself first. If we can't lead ourselves, we can't lead others. But we never learn to lead ourselves. Read the emotions and the values. Many people do not even know the values. We know why we've been triggered, but learning what are your non-negotiables, then you should not say yes to that job if it conflicts with your non-negotiable, or you should not say yes to that assignment because the way that person shows up is non-negotiable, because speaking and acting with integrity is one of your non-negotiable values. And then I missed the last one you had on your bed. What was that one? Right? What was on your streamer? What was the last one you had? On the banner, yeah, and presence. Yeah, I wanted to talk to that because oftentimes we are so in our thoughts when we are in a conversation. Like right now, I'm only present with you. I could think about what was going on in that room, what was going on. But what happens is that when we are in the meeting and we think about or judging other people, or think about being emotionally tied to the last meeting, or oh, should I buy dinner tonight, or what? Then we're not present. And most people, leaders, cannot understand that other people can pick up when they're not present. But present means that you are truly present in that conversation, because then you can only think about what's going on right now. And that's powerful.
Yes, I'm so sorry about that. Here in Transformation Station, we always give our listeners and viewers an opportunity to stop and reflect. And to all of our leaders right now, I want to give you this invitation right now to take it in what Camilla is sharing with us and do some reflection. What is your awareness like? How are you leading? Are you present? What does being present mean to you? Does it mean that you're just in the room? You showed up to work? Or does it mean that you are there and without even having to say a word, you have a presence that is aware, that is open? that looks and sees how to best find talent management, that actually cares, that asks questions as opposed to just giving orders. This is a good place to stop and reflect. You know, Camilla, you often say that your highest self is the greatest leadership move. So let me ask you, why do so many women, why do so many men, why do so many leaders still see it as self-indulgent? And how do we shift? How do we shift that?
I love that. Um, I can speak from what I know to be true in my own journey, and what I see as patterns is that we've been we have a misrelationship with self-love and self-respect.
Mercy.
We don't, when we say love yourself, what does that mean, right? I cannot love myself. That is to be so egocentric. But when you love yourself, then you truly own your power. You're truly powerful, and you just know what you know to be true. And you find peace and inner peace in that. Why we haven't learned it is that we have learned to serve other people.
Mercy.
And when we learn to serve other people, when we learn to have respect for titles, then what you know is not really important because you obey titles. But
Mm,
there comes a moment in our careers, in mid-career, and obviously I'm towards the end of the career. So as I call now the best chapter in our career,
mm-hmm,
where many people are looking for more meaning.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And that meaning comes when you truly honor what you're truly good at, because there's only one you, Adrienne, with your capacity, with your capabilities, with your track record. Then go own your worth, right? Own your assets.
mm-hmm,
And that's also self-love.
mm-hmm,
But when we dare to embrace, borrow that belief, as one of my mentors says, if you dare to borrow that belief, that own what you're truly good at, that is self-love, that is self-respect, then you
mm-hmm,
don't brag. It's not bragging. It's just
mm-hmm,
really showing up to serve. And that makes the
mm-hmm,
whole difference, to be in that room to serve because
mm-hmm,
you want to help others rather than bragging, because that's ego and that's more transactional, very different energies. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
But there's so much freedom and liberation when we allow ourselves to be just, this is what I am really good at, and it comes naturally to me, and not
mm-hmm,
just own it, because so many people need you and they don't know they need you. So it's your job to tell them what
mm-hmm.
you're truly good at, how you can help them.
And I love the fact that you said that it's freedom. It's freedom to actually be. It's freedom, right? And if I hear you, if I hear you correctly, the shift is internal. From who will I disappoint if I focus on myself to who benefits when I lead at my fullest. You know, many of us are not leading at our fullest, right? Because we're focusing on outside. But that internal, when we value who we are, when we understand what we bring to the table, when we understand our talents, we are able to walk forward being authentic. And it's a mindset. What were you going to say?
Mm. It's so powerful, and there was so many downloads here, but that of this being, who do I disappoint? That is so deep. And I just want to sit with that, because if we disappoint, afraid of disappointing someone, whose expectation are we actually living up to?
Mercy. Mercy.
My body's so responding now.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want to disappoint. You can only say, like, do your best. But if we disappoint, we are transactional and we come from ego. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot disappoint when you show up in that room to serve with your fullest capacity, your highest capacity,
Mm-hmm.
and just tell them what you observe without judging, right? You cannot disappoint anyone, because then you're not living your life to the fullest. Then you're living your life to
Mm-hmm.
someone else's recipe.
Mercy. And we don't want to do that.
No.
It's too heavy. It costs too much, and sometimes we don't realize how much it costs us, what the real sacrifice is when we do that. We get so accustomed to doing it out of survival mode. But it's very heavy, and then that's where you end up with regrets, and you're looking back and you feel like your life just rushed by you and you didn't really get a chance to enjoy it. And man, so leaders, there's a call right now, a call to action for you to stop and ask yourself some authentic questions. What will bring you back to center? How can you honor you so that you can lead at your fullest? Right? Who benefits? I think we all can sit down and write a list of who would benefit if we were leading at our fullest. So I want to ask you this question, Camilla, right? In seasons of growth, how can leaders stay connected to their values and inner compass while navigating increased responsibility and visibility? And this is a weighty question, but it's a serious one, right? Many of us, as we promote, as we expand, we feel this tension between our values and what we perceive that this new role or promotion is calling to us. So how can we stay connected to our values and inner compass?
I love that. So here's what I learned is that our values oftentimes will grow or change or shift or flip as we grow. And what I learned the hard way, everything I teach is coming from lived experiences, right? It's not textbook, as you mentioned, nothing to do about textbook. But here's what I learned. What got you here won't get you there.
Mercy.
Which means that if we got new responsibilities, oh, this is so deep. It is so powerful. I'm so glad you brought that up. That also means we get to step into a different identity. Because otherwise we would be running more responsibility from the same level of consciousness. But if we got more responsibility, that means that someone has seen your capacity, your ability to take on new responsibilities. And if you're a growth-minded person, I think you are here, otherwise you wouldn't have tuned into this amazing channel, is that then ask yourself, who am I with this new responsibility? What do I no longer tolerate? What do I no longer want to, who do I no longer want to show up as?
Mercy.
And even more importantly, and I do this every single day, what boundaries do I now need to hold for myself to be able to thrive with more responsibilities? For me, this is so deep. My body's responding. And most people never take the time to sit and ask these questions with someone who can ask these questions. But that is just when we understand this and go back and listen to this again, because the more you set healthy boundaries, the more you define who do you want to become, then the more your container expands and the more you can take on without working harder, without losing yourself in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And leaders, again, Camilla is giving us a master class here that really we have to take seriously because it has an impact in how we lead every day. So we invite you to just take a moment and just pause, take it in, hear, but also reflect. Camilla, what are some subtle ways that leaders leak energy without realizing it? And how does that cost us respect, results, and well-being?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. I did a video not long ago on my YouTube channel on this. Here's a pattern I've seen again and again now then. There's several cases, but there's one scenario when we are in transition. And sometimes we are. And we get to see it as a double blessing, that something better is waiting for us. But if we are emotionally tied to the past, what happens is that, and here's the neuroscience in the brain, is that then the brain is focused, and then we leak energy on the past. We feel victimized. I call it out real love to my clients. Stop pity partying. You can choose what field you want to tune into or plug into. But if we are not aware, if we don't have someone who holds up the mirror, then we can feel a victim of what happened to us. And that energy they carry when they write their application or their covering letter, when they show up in interviews with a please pick me energy, I am good enough. And what I've seen at the end, and I'm so glad you asked this, I've seen clients who are more in a doer mode spending or wasting months
Mercy.
because they haven't. Regan Hillyer is very powerful manifester. She talks about emotional hygiene, which means that we want to, it's a good choice to have heart is here and brain is here, brain heart coherence. When we are in a coherence, it just is not giving emotional power to the past. You don't leak energy. But that's something I've seen so many times in 2025, and partly because it's been a very challenging year, dynamic year, but also where leaders leak power the most and also lose impact in conversations because they're emotionally tied to something. So, dear viewer or listener, heal your emotional wounds. Don't let your emotional wounds impact you, because people, that's why energy is contagious. So rather spend 1 week resetting your energy than pushing through and then carrying an energy that does not serve where you want to go next.
Wow. I want to invite every leader right now to take a moment to inhale, exhale, take a moment to do some focused breathing. This is really heavy and it's powerful. But what I love about it is, as I'm listening to you, Camilla, it's also hopeful, right? Because what you're sharing with us is reminding all of us as leaders, you may have felt stuck, but you don't have to stay stuck at all. There's always an opportunity to reset, right? And so on that note, I want to ask you this question. You say stillness is a strategy, not a luxury. How can leaders use stillness to reset and lead with clarity in high pressure moments?
I love that. In stillness, that is strategy. In stillness, you find answers. And when you allow yourself to be silent, then that deep inner voice say, I need to do that, or I should do that. And you do it. Like this morning, I was, okay, we're starting off new year, but I allowed myself to find stillness. And I got some synchronicities. Oh, this is what I want to do. Stillness, dear listener or viewer, if you blog in, I invite my clients to blog in 1 hour a day for stillness, because when you're still within, you're not in doing mode.
Yeah.
And that's when you step into your next level leadership.
Yes.
And that's, you can use not only to create greater, ask bolder questions.
Yes.
Think what no one else thinks, because everyone else in the hamster wheel, you get even an unfair advantage just by giving yourself time to be still.
Yes. Yes.
And then you can reset. So even that hack, Adrian, is an unfair advantage. People get an unfair advantage just by tapping into stillness and allowing that pause to help them reset and tap into What is it that I'm aware of, not aware of right now? What do I know to be aware of? Or why did he say that? What is really going on? We don't, those questions may surface when we're showering, like 2 days later, but then it's too late, maybe.
Mhm.
And when you
Mhm.
set yourself up for successful, that stillness, everything shifts very, very fast.
I love that. And I love this. You gave us a weekly, a daily, a actual something that was very practical that all of us can do. We can do it in a way that reconciles or aligns with our schedule, with our responsibilities, but it's very doable, right? Practicing stillness. Then I love, when you said there's so much power in stillness, the ability to reconnect, right? To realign, to just be. I think so many times, I think over my own career, over 2 decades in leadership, and unfortunately, there've been so many times where I didn't even enjoy it because I was so focused on all these other external things that I lost. I had that disconnection with Adrian, but that's one of the things that I'm determined to do now. And so, to all the leaders, it is never too late. Never too late. Camilla, as we turn the corner on this conversation, right, I just want to ask you to do this. I know that there are leaders right now that are listening to this conversation and they're saying, hey, that sounds wonderful. I think it's really great. But I'm going to ask you again if you can speak directly to that leader that feels stuck, right? That
Mm.
leader that is like, okay, stillness, practice it. But I still feel stuck. How would you encourage that leader?
Mm. So, dear leader, if you still feel stuck, I invite you to honor that feeling, recognize that feeling, and tune into the belief that you believe to be true that keeps you stuck. But remember, that is a limiting belief. So as you pause, then release that belief that no longer serves where you want to go next. And if you're stuck, this is what my mentors tell me, then celebrate that you're stuck, because then you're on your edge to your next level. Go out in nature, tune in to your wisdom, your voice, and say, what is the next small step I can take from here? That's the smartest way, the fastest way to
Mhm.
go out, to get out of stuckness.
I love that. And everybody here in Transformation Station, again, we've had a masterclass tonight. This truly is a powerful conversation. Camilla, I'm really enjoying the peace that is resonating in this conversation. You have brought us to calm. And to every leader that's listening and watching, I want to invite you to stay in the calm. When this podcast episode is over, just be still. Find an opportunity to just sit, be still, think, reflect. And ask yourself, how can you walk forward in your leadership in a way that is soulful, in a way that carries awareness? Camilla, I know that there are leaders that want to learn more from you, that want to tap in and engage with the resources that you provide. Talk to us a little bit about what resources you have and how we can engage with you.
I love that. And thanks for the opportunity. And so, different resources on YouTube as we hear. Then there are different training videos. I call it training videos, but videos where I talk about nervous system, because that's really the nervous system that oftentimes run the show and not the mind. So
Mercy.
you, so you can dive into some free trainings there. I post on problem areas, what I know to be true, and also my own journey from
Mhm.
being a non-emotional intelligent person, who I was a couple of years ago, to being able to read my nervous system and reset in the moment.
Mhm.
So that's on LinkedIn, the same name, Camilla Calberg. And then my website, Camilla Calberg. There's some free resources. I have a daily guidebook, energy book to reset your energy for
Mhm.
free. And also, we are running several cohorts called the Trusted Advisor, so
Mm.
that you can build your trusted advisor. I call it muscle.
Yes.
It's deep emotional intelligence, but it's really to help you scale
Mhm.
and show up as who you really want to show up, because you know within, because you're
Yes.
tuning into this work, that you
Yes.
know you have more to unleash.
I love that. All right, Transformation Station. Camilla is a treasure. We have tons, she has tons of resources. You see the link on the screen. It's also in the description box. I want to invite you to tap on that link, go click in. She's on YouTube and LinkedIn. Contact her so that you can get the resources, but also so that we can continue to grow. Also, let Camilla know that you saw or you heard this episode. Let her know what resonated with you. And I'm excited about the journey that you'll be on. Camilla, it has been wonderful to have you here with us on Transformation Station. Thank you so much for your wisdom and for your knowledge and for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, Transformation Station, listen, this conversation with Camilla was such a powerful reminder that real expansion doesn't pull us away from ourselves. No, it invites us into deeper alignment, growth that's sustainable, and leadership that's rooted. Listen, wherever you are in your leadership journey, remember you don't have to abandon your values to expand your influence. Until next time, expand with soul, lead with heart, and trust the growth that is unfolding inside of you.